Hi, this is an evening yin class. Of course, you can do this any time of the day. It just happens to be evening right now for me, and it's kind of what I do in the night to wrap up my day. Just very relaxing, stretching, easy. You will need 2 balls for this one. So there's some that don't use it, so you could always do that, but it will be helpful to have 2 myofascial release balls, and these are lacrosse balls. You can use anything like tennis balls. There's some specifically designed for myofascial release, but the lacrosse balls have a little bit more firmness. So we'll start on our back, laying down. Just kind of feel that day settle, and letting your back drop into the earth, taking a breath, just a natural, easy breath to feel, and just sighing it out. Letting your low back relax. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh, and you'll just bring this figure 4 in, rocking it side to side, and tip this leg formation to the left. So I just started, I'll show you again, I just started with the thread the needle, right ankle over left thigh, hugging that in, tipping that whole formation, dropping it to the left. I like to use my left hand as a kickstand to prop my right thigh up. I feel that in the outer right hip, into the low back a little bit. It's nice, it's subtle, yet it's this sort of deep sense of release in the side of the hip. And with yin, we want to just relax and allow and let it be easy, let it be subtle, so you can get some of the subtle tissues. Some people like to hug that knee in. Just do whatever really feels good. Letting your right arm relax, head relax, and we'll just be here for a few minutes. Sometimes at the end of the day for me, I don't necessarily hold things as long. It just depends. So for this class here, I'm just going to hold things for a few minutes. Notice your breath. Notice this kind of slowing everything down. Just putting your attention right into your right outer hip. About another minute here. Let the pelvis be heavy. I just noticed my right butt was lifted a little bit. Of course, right butt's not going to touch the ground. Just let it feel heavy toward the earth. Face is relaxed. Hinge of your jaw softens. Notice with time and as you settle and relax, it can get deeper. It can get a little bit deeper right into that hip. A few more moments. For release, I think it's nice to actually just kind of roll to the left, which takes the stretch out, and start to work the legs towards a fetal. And now we'll lay our legs out in a shavasana to feel the sides. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Just notice the in between. Next will be a thigh stretch. That's for the quads. One option is to roll right over to your belly, grabbing your right ankle for a thigh stretch there. The other option that you can try and see if it works for you is to kind of come up halfway and sneak. This is going to be half Virasana. So sneak that heel toward your butt, planting the top of your right foot to the earth, using your hands and your left foot on the ground on your mat to lift the butt and tuck the tail slightly. So now my butt's on the inside of my right heel. My left foot is helping me to add a little tail tuck, so it's not about arching the back, it's about lengthening that right thigh. This might be enough. Feel free to stay here. Maybe come to forearms. And if you have the space or you have some props behind you, you might use a bolster, some pillows, things like that. You can put that under your back for support. Or if you have the room or the freedom, you can lay all the way back. Arms can come up overhead. This should not feel painful at all. If there's any form of pain or any kind of like not sureness and maybe almost feeling like you're gripping a little bit, that might be that is actually your body saying, no, a little bit too much. Go to your belly and just grab your ankle, and that's a great quad stretch. So we're just here for a few minutes. We're going to do a few things on one side and then switch to the other side. Letting your eyes close, feeling the back of your head melt into the ground. Noticing your hands, let them soften. One thing that's nice at the end of the day is there's really nothing more to do. So you can just relax your mind and replenish your body from the day of hard work. For me, this is plenty stretch. I'll give you one other option. Some of you that might be very, very flexible may not. I have some students that need a little bit more. So the next phase would be to lift the other knee and hug that knee into chest. Now, for me, I like this because it lengthens my low back, but it's on the edge of being a little bit too much of a stretch. So I'm just going to lower that foot, but if that feels good for you, feel free to stay. Bringing your awareness right into the right thigh. Just letting yourself not have to do anything, just being with the stillness, with the quiet, letting your body soak in the replenishing, the healing. So we'll gently unwind. If you're on your belly, release your ankle. You can hang out there. I like to do that. There's lots of different ways to cut. You could come up by sitting up and release that way. Or grab your right ankle and again, roll toward your left side. Keep the knee folded. So keep that fold of the knee as you draw the knees back to fetal position. Lay down in your savasana. Take a moment. Honoring the space in between. Right leg, so same leg. Just bring it up to the sky, hands behind the hamstring. Point and flex right foot. Circle through the ankle. And more than trying for the hamstring stretch, really just getting a nice recirculation, some movement through the toes. You might have been standing a lot today or whatever, or walking or running, and really just to love the foot and the toes for everything it does for us is so helpful. The blood's flushing. You might get a little hamstring stretch here. Just a moment. Take another moment here, not too long. And we'll bend our right knee for a half, just one leg happy baby. I always feel kind of weird saying half of a happy baby. So we're prying that right knee toward the floor. Ankle is just roughly over the knee. Just let it feel good. This one's a few breaths. Other leg can relax. Gently release. Lay that right leg out. Take a moment. Starting to feel a lot different on the right side than the left side. I like to do a lot on one side and then do everything on the other to really feel that difference. You can feel the life, the circulation, the flush in that right leg as opposed to the left. You might even feel tingles in the foot. The leg might feel longer, maybe heavier to the ground. So we'll do one more thing on the right side, and that's with the ball. We'll work with some of the hip stabilizers, and that is higher up, right below your low back, but not right on your butt cheek. So I'll show you, I'll come up, you can stay laying down. The ball, so you'll notice your sacrum, this flat triangular bone at the base of the spine, and you'll feel that flat bone. You'll work your way about 3 inches to the right, toward the top of that bone. So I'm showing you right here, this is roughly where the ball is going to be. With your knees bent, feet on the ground, lift your hips, place that ball about 2 to 3 inches to the right of the sacrum. So you're not on the bones of the pelvis, you're not on the low back, and you're not on the butt cheek, but you're right above it. Straighten that right leg and roll toward the right, about 45 degrees to the earth, or toward 45 degrees like an angled. You're not all the way on your back, you're not all the way on the side, you're about halfway in between. You can inch up or down, left or right until you find a good spot, and you'll really know for sure that it's a spot because it has a nice, pretty intense level of sensation. It's a unique sensation, a little more dull-ish, maybe even achy-ish, but in a good way. And we'll just stay for a few moments. I first learned this series with the hip from Tiffany Cruikshank of Yoga Medicine, who is just such a phenomenal, brilliant teacher. And she knows the body so well. So when she has us straighten the leg, because it relaxes the hip, and also from her knowledge, it's 30 to 60 seconds is really all you need for each spot to get a change in the tissues. So we'll roll more to the right, a little bit more to the right, not all the way to the right side yet, but just a little bit more to the right. You might inch up or down, and you'll just find it's pretty close to the last spot we were in, but I sometimes find one more little spot on the side of the hip that's pretty sensational. Again, if you're not sure, move around. I notice sometimes in class when we do this, a lot of times people are trying to massage it out, and what seems to be more efficient and effective is to just be still with one spot. I know there's lots of different areas that feel good, feel releasing. Just find one spot that you can relax into so that that area has a chance to release. Just stay one more moment. Now we'll roll all the way to the side of the hip. So you're actually going to be really laying right on your right side, maybe holding your head. You might have to inch up or down. If you bend the right knee here, it usually intensifies it, which may or may not be helpful. And you're just going to kind of move around until you find something that you can relax into, but it is on the edge. It's kind of like, I'm relaxing, but it's very, very sensational. It's pretty, to me, this one's a little bit more than the last two we did. I'm going to re-straighten my leg. The bent knee was a little too much. Anything you want to support you with that left leg, but see what you can do to relax your body into the ball. Just a few more moments. And we'll do one more. So this one we lay all the way on our belly with the left knee hiking up toward your left armpit. You might grab the ball with your hand and place it. I love how Tiffany Cruikshank describes this. She calls this area the pocket. If you had a pant pocket, I actually have sweats and I have a pocket right there. And it's a few inches from the frontal hip bone down and about an inch or so lateral, so to the right. And that's, if you had pants, it'd be right where the pocket is. And you might have to inch up or down, left or right, even a tiny bit until you find it. You'll know when, if you're not sure, you're probably not on the spot. This is the TFL, and it is so on the front of the hip. It's I find this one to be just on the edge of bearability, but in a good way. Stay for another moment or two. The more you do this, which I end up doing this almost every day because I love it so much, the more you'll be able to find this spot pretty easily, and then you can just drop in and relax. Maybe take one more moment here. Sometimes the ball's too low, sometimes too high, so you might play around with that. Oh, feels so good. Okay, so you'll lift up and move the ball to the side, and we'll lay down on our back. So you most likely are going to feel pretty significant difference from right leg to left leg. Just with your eyes closed, just tune in. See if one foot feels more turned out, or maybe even the butt cheek feels heavier. Maybe that right leg feels longer. Good, so we'll do all of that on the other side. You might want to do a few windshield wipers, rinsing through the hips, the low back. Find center, cross left ankle over right thigh. Hug it in. You might take a moment to rock. Tipping that figure 4 formation this time to the right. So just going to keep that whole formation the same. And you can roll a little bit to the right. And once you get there with the legs, left arm reaches out to the left. So it's a little bit of a twist and a hip opener as well. Right hand kickstands. So when I say kickstand, I don't mean pushing that left thigh away from you, although that is a nice traction. But for yin, we just kind of let that leg relax into the hand, finding a position that you can just ease into. And as you relax more, usually there's an unwinding in it, and sometimes it feels a little bit more, feels a little deeper with time, with the settling. So just relaxing through your face and your jaw, letting your pelvis feel heavy. So if there's any bit of lifting up, which often there is, just heavy, just feel that left butt just aim toward the ground. The low back softens. And we'll just be here for about 2 more minutes. Letting your eyes feel soft and heavy. Letting your forehead release any stress or any kind of crunchiness. My forehead tends to do a lot of thinking, and I have a lot of expression in my forehead, so just by giving it permission to soften really eases any agitation or tension. Everything's connected, so the more we can relax and ease our face, shoulders, even our feet, the more that will send a message to the hip that it can relax as well. Sometimes their body just needs stillness, just needs quiet. Intentionally though. So on purpose, you're taking time to care for your body, and it feels it. Let your left leg just fall heavy into that right hand so it doesn't feel like it has to hold up. Last few moments. Slowly rolling toward right side so the knees can bend. You're kind of in the fetal position. Lay your legs out. Take a moment. Everything recirculating, maybe shake it out. Next is the quads. So roll to your belly, grab your left ankle if that worked for you. Or you can try the half Virasana. Going to the side, grab your left ankle. Place your left top of the foot on the ground. And again, you can kind of rise up a little bit. Sometimes that's helpful. Right foot to the ground. Lift up your butt. Tuck your tail. Now the butt's on the inside of your left heel. Left toes are facing back. For on this side, this feels like plenty for me, so I might just stay here for a while on the forearms. If it's too much, you can come to your hands. And then if you need a little bit more, you can relax to your back. Lay down. I like to lift the butt again and tuck tail, maybe arms overhead. Focus is the left thigh, huge muscle groups, 4 big muscles there. Prime movers do a lot for us. And we're just taking the time to re-lengthen anything that got shortened from the day. You might start the shape and it feels good, and then maybe something feels is aggravated. And again, your body's so brilliant, it's letting you know, so we'll listen to it. Come out of it, lay on your belly and grab your ankle. Some of you that might want more, lifting the right knee into the chest. That should intensify it as well. If you feel any crunchy or pinchy in the low back, you might want to prop yourself up, give yourself some support, lengthening the low back by tucking tail. So we're not going for a back bend here. We're just focusing on that, on the quads. It's about 1 more minute here. Soften into it. Notice what part of your body can get heavier into the ground. Feeling even the back of the head, or if you're on your belly, maybe your forehead, rest into the earth. Feeling how held you are, that you really don't have to hang on. Just listen, just listening to your body, listening to the spaces in between. We'll ease on out, grabbing left ankle, folding your way to the right. So keeping that knee folded, fetal. Straighten the legs out, lay down. Shake it out as needed. Left knee hugs to chest. Up to sky. Articulating through your left foot, point, flex, circle. Maybe you're wiggling the toes. You might even just point the foot for a moment and feel the top of the foot. Maybe flexing. I love circling the ankle. Feels so helpful, just gliding through the tissues. Maybe walking the hands up a little more if you want a bit of a hamstring stretch. But remember, we're not trying to do anything too much here. We're just getting a recirculation. Blood from the toes is coming down toward the source, the heart. Just let it be easy. Notice if the back of your head's kind of crunching. Just tuck your chin toward your chest a bit and then relax. Just another moment, not long. And we'll do the happy baby with the left leg. So bending left knee, if you can grab that foot from the outside, I like that, or the ankle. There's really no one perfect or right way to do any of this. Just kind of getting to know your body, getting to know the sensation, and also being curious. What does it feel like today? What does this feel like? It's going to be different. Every moment's a new moment. Our body's is different today than it was yesterday. So this was feeling through the groin, the inner thigh a bit. Letting that right side of the pelvis and hip drop. Just another moment. Slowly release. Lay your left leg out. Take a moment to feel. Shaking through the legs. And we'll find our ball for the left side hip stabilizers. Bending your knees, place the ball about 3 inches to the left of the sacrum, toward the top of it. But it really depends. You're going to need to move around and adjust, especially if it's the first time doing this. Lay your left leg straight to relax the hips and roll to the left. Rolling to the left, you might need to come up. If you've got to the bone, you're a little too far or a little down until you feel something that you can relax into, but that you can feel, that you really can feel. It's an interesting sensation. There's not many sensations like this. So just rest into it. Just let your body rest. Trying to relax your whole body and melting over the ball, just about 30 seconds. Noticing if there's any gripping. See if you can really tune into the sensation you feel and be right with it. Now we'll roll just a little bit more. So not on the left side yet, but just enough to find. I even just moved really just an inch at the most, and I feel a whole nother spot. You can again kind of find a sensation by inching up, down, left or right, and now letting your body just relax into it. Seeing if you can let your body melt over that stimulus. Take another moment here. Now we'll roll all the way to our left side. So we're just kind of sneaking onto that left side. Propping, using that right leg however you need to support yourself, and maybe even trying to bend that left knee. Notice if that feels okay. And relax, about 30 more seconds here. Notice if the hands or the feet can relax. For the last little bit, bring all your awareness right into the sensation. And not needing to analyze or talk about it, but just ride that wave of sensation. Feel the texture. Feel if something's holding on that might be able to just sink in there. We'll do one more spot. So this we roll to our belly. Hiking the right knee up toward the armpit and sneaking that ball into the left front of the hip, the pocket zone. About 2 inches down from the frontal hip bone and maybe an inch or so out to the left. And you might have to inch up or down. Sometimes I notice when I see people do this, they're a little bit too low toward the thigh. So you have to come up higher, maybe lower. And once you find it, you're relaxing. So the right knee's hiked up, and what that does is it distributes more body weight over the ball. And once you find the spot, stay with it. See what you can do to relax into it. Sometimes if it's, sometimes it kicks you out. Like right then for me, I found a spot and it just kind of kicked me out and didn't let me in there. It was too grippy. So I just went right back there and relaxed, and now it's finally letting me in there. Just trying to ease into it. A few more moments. And we'll slowly unwind. So you can just grab the ball and we'll lay on our back again. So we'll do one more, and this is where you'll need the 2 balls, and you'll place the balls in your low back. So right at the C curve of your low back on either side of your spine, and you'll just come up to the forearms, and roll, lift your butt, and glide up and down just a few inches. The balls are on either side of the spine, so there's a tiny space in between. And you're rolling toward almost to the, sometimes I even like to roll kind of on the hip bones just a little bit because there's so many attachments there and it feels good. You're just gliding up and down, not super high, just a few inches up and down the low back. See if you can let your body be heavy over the balls, just noticing and just going real slow and smooth. Caringly. Take another few passes. Find center again. So again, it's just right at your low back, right in the lumbar spine. Lay back down. And we'll bend our right knee to the right, lift the butt, and inch up, down, right, left, until you find a spot, which is your QL, which is very an interesting sensation. You might have to play around with this a little bit. It's tissues that sneak out from underneath the paraspinal muscles that run up and down the length of the spine. And the muscle, it goes lateral. So if I were to come to your back and massage it, rather than pushing down, I would push in toward the direction of the spine. That's why we're rolling to the right. And it's just peeking out from underneath. So you'll know when you find it. So again, it's on the low back, and it's just an inch to the right of the spine. You stay. I'm going to show you where it is, because sometimes this one is tricky to find. Some people find it right away. This is right about here, and again, instead of pushing down, it goes in. So it's right in here. A little stubborn area there. Again, this is a unique feeling. This is different than those hips. If you want a little bit more, you want to try this, once you find a spot, you can hug that left knee in the chest. That usually intensifies it a little bit. Maybe drawing little circles with that left leg. You're still kind of on that right side. Now find something and hold it. If it's too much to lift that left knee, put that left foot back down. We'll just go right to the other side. So if that ball kind of snuck out, place the ball to the left in your low back. Left knee all the way falls over to the left. And you'll inch up, down, left or right until you find something that you can feel it. It feels different kind of texture in there, different kind of grippiness. And once you get it, the sensation usually increases. It's usually a higher sensation, like a higher pitched sensation there. And you'll stay. Maybe once you find a spot, you can hug the right knee in, which for me it intensifies it because it brings more body weight over the ball. And again, the ball is pushing in toward the midline, toward the spine. Possibly circling that right knee a little bit, gliding the tissues, left back. And just stay, find something you can stay with and relax a few more moments. Sometimes you want to push into the ball to get more sensation, but that just grips our tissues up more. So rather than doing that, just see what you can do to soften and ease and relax, like you're melting. Like everything's just melting over the ball and you're getting heavier. Slowly release. Bring the balls out to the side. And just lay your way into Shavasana. Noticing in your Shavasana how the body feels, how your back feels, your legs, feeling your mind at ease, feeling the calm, noticing the receiving and how your body just soaks it in. Feel your breath. Notice where the breath is as you breathe in. Notice where in the body it's located. Feel the breath out. Notice where it's located. Notice if it goes lower to the belly or higher. We'll rinse through the fingers and toes, and we'll slowly make our way up to a seat to close. Hands full to heart. Thank you so much. Namaste.